Thursday, December 7th, 2017, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So President FDR said about December 7th, a date which will live in infamy. That's the day that the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. I'm not going to go too much into that, but I've read a lot about Pearl Harbor. I've done research papers in school about it. And to me, it seems that it was a provocation by the U.S. They embargoed the Japanese Empire. They cut off their oil supply. Many people think the Americans knew that Pearl Harbor was going to be bombed. And the reason they let it happen was to get the U.S. into World War II. Don't forget, this was 1941. The war had started in 1939. Anyway, I want to talk about something else. Just a little bit of history there before I start. I want to talk about the markets as usual and focus on the dollar and the tax cuts that we're seeing now, the tax reform, the Trump tax cut. Before I start, though, let's have a look at what's going on this morning. Spot gold, I'll start with that again. I know Bitcoin is trading above almost at $15,000, but I'll stick to covering gold for now. That's down $6.50 at $1256.67. The low has been $1256 overnight and the high $1265. It's almost 10 a.m. by the way, London time. Silver is down 7 cents at $15.87. The range has been 16 to 15.86. So we're near the lows here of the overnight trading. Dow future up 30 points, 24,170. S&P up 5, 2633 or 2633. And the tech NASDAQ, the NASDAQ 100 up 22 points. So stock markets doing fairly well. Yesterday, we had another down day. Well, we had a down day in the Dow, 40 points, which is nothing. S&P was basically down 0.3 of a point, so basically unchanged. NASDAQ managed to trade up 14 points. Currency-wise, what do we got this morning? The pound is down 15, 133.77. So from what I hear in the news here in the UK, the Brexit negotiations are not going well. And one of the ministers here who's supposed to be running the show couldn't answer any of the questions in Parliament about the projections of how Brexit would impact all the sectors of the economy, even though a few months ago I think he said that they made contingency studies and apparently they didn't do anything. He actually answered, no, we haven't done any of it. So basically he lied. So the pound could continue to be under pressure. Euro down 5 pips, 117.90, so not much changed. Dollar up 36 pips or 1/3% against the yen at 112.65. Right now, it looks like 112 below is good support and 113 above is resistance. So those are the markets. Cryptocurrencies, as I said earlier, let's have a look here. Bitcoin is 14,700, right on the highs. Ethereum hasn't performed as well. We're at 414. We've been almost as high as 500, I think, recently. IOTA is down 16%. I think the market cap there was 15 billion yesterday at one point. Now it's 10 billion. So that's cryptocurrencies. And one thing I would say, there's the old saying about the canary in a coal mine. And I'll read here exactly, what it means. There's an article here I found. So it goes like this. In the old days, a canary went down to work with coal miners. The practice was so ubiquitous that it's become a cliche. But why? specifically, is a canary such a good indicator of imminent suffocation? Basically because birds breed more than we do, than humans. They breathe in and out quicker than we do. So they're more susceptible to detecting carbon monoxide. And that's why they died earlier in the coal mine. So why have I brought this up? Well, because I think cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, are kind of a canary in the coal mine. If you read their protocol, they're supposed to fight the centralized fiat money system by implementing money that is sound, money that has to be, how can I say, worked for, and in this case is by programming and a lot of computer power, electricity, in order to mine these bitcoins and also other altcoins or tokens. It's all part of the protocol, and they've also limited Bitcoin to 21 million coins. Right now, I think it's probably around 16 million. I'm not sure exactly, but just to show you how difficult it is to mine Bitcoin, it will take until the year 2140, I think, to get to the 21 million. So cryptocurrencies are performing basically the job that gold and silver usually do when there are monetary crisis or monetary, how can I say, when central bankers and the people who are in charge of the monetary system, when they misbehave and they do things that are, how can I say, negative, that should be highlighted as being fraudulent and unnatural, that's when gold and silver perform well, because gold and silver have the track record of 5,000 years as preserving wealth fairly well. Paper money, it disappears, it becomes worthless. You find a gold coin buried for a few thousand years, or gold jewelry, it's worth a lot of money. Same thing with silver. So why haven't gold and silver performed as well? Why haven't they been the canary in the coal mine? Basically because, in my opinion, the canary in the coal mine has been kind of, it's like a thermometer or a barometer of monetary rectitude. So the central bankers and the people that work for them, the bankers, and the governments, people, and the media, everyone that's involved in the establishment, universities, endowments. Who do you think endows all the big universities? Well, it's the big banks, and they derive their power from the fiat money. They've kept basically the barometer. They basically fiddled around with the barometer or the thermometer as well, if you want to look at it like that, in order to be able to do this policy of money printing for the last 10 years. Because when you look at other countries, third world countries that try to do this, it's never succeeded. So why should the US, the UK, the ECB or the Eurozone or the Bank of Japan or the Swiss National Bank, why should it be different for them that they can create paper money or currency out of thin air in the trillions and it be worth something? So what do they need to do? They need to keep the precious metals canary out of the coal mine, and that's what they've done for now. But they can't keep the cryptocurrency canary out of the coal mine because they play in a different coal mine. They're in a different coal mine. They're separate from the fiat money coal mine, which is the financial system. They're like immune from control of the, control from the powers that be, their universities, their economists, their Keynesian economists especially. Is that Does that mean that I think Bitcoin price is going to go higher? I don't know. It probably will, of course. Will it come lower? Of course. Is the blockchain going to disappear? No. The other thing people need to also keep in mind and not let themselves be distracted by the Bitcoin price. I know a lot of people have done very well from it, of course, but I think Bitcoin is not the only part of the cryptocurrency or blockchain where there's opportunity. There's opportunity everywhere. There's going to be a lot of applications we don't even know about today. That will probably, in 6 months' time, will be a new thing out of the blockchain, out of altcoins, and cryptocurrency. Interesting, because I listened to Christopher Green of Alternative Media TV, AM TV. He was talking about how when he used to work for Merrill Lynch, he was involved in the Google ICO, trying to sell Google to the public, the stock. And he said that 90% of his clients said, no, thank you. I don't know how they'll ever make money. So that's what we're seeing today with the ICOs. I know a lot of them are just will not survive. There's just some people trying to make a quick buck out of it. You have to be discerning, but I think it's a great opportunity. Bitcoin, I guess the public that hasn't heard about Bitcoin until now, they'll focus on Bitcoin, but there's a whole universe out there, in my opinion. Yes, the price is going up, but don't let that distract you. As for the tax cut and the dollar, I listened to Peter Schiff. He wasn't Greg Hunter. And one thing he said was interesting, and I agree with him. You can have a tax cut. That's a good thing. That means the government is going to take less from the public, from the taxpayer, which normally should mean that the government is going to get smaller, but it's not. So how does the government get bigger when tax cuts go down? Well, they can only have more money through borrowing and more debt if they're not going to tax people more. So that's what's happening, and that's why the dollar is going to continue lower, because when you don't, how can I say it? When you cut taxes and you don't cut the size of government, the government has to find money another way than tax cuts. So that's what I wanted to talk about, and I'll put the link also to this article I saw on Zero Hedge. Is tax reform good for the US dollar? How about gold? And you'll see how a lot of the tax reforms that we've seen in the last 30 years, after those reforms, the dollar is actually going down. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Twitter and on steemit.com, STEEMIT.com. Talk to you later. Bye.